All right, so this is my 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance. I got it a little less than 4 weeks ago, and man, I've been really enjoying it. I've been following Tesla since they started making the cars, years ago, and I've always kind of been interested in one, but obviously was kind of worried about the batteries and the longevity and durability and how they will actually be long term. But they've been out long enough. I've talked to multiple people. They've had the Model 3s and different Teslas for years, and 150,000, 200,000 miles on them with no problem. So I figured it'd be a good time to get them, especially now that the prices have came down a little bit. I think this one had a MSRP of right around 69,000 when it came out in 2022, and I got it for under 50, which is pretty nice. And I'll say for the past few weeks that I've had it, I've really started to love it even more than I did before. Kind of hand washed it today for the first time, and just the curvatures of the car, how the back is wider than the front. It's got 275s on the back and 255s on the front for the tires. Man, it just looks really, really good and really mean. Straight ahead, it looks kind of like a bug to me. I don't necessarily love that, especially with that big windshield right there. But the 21-inch Urban wheels really help out. The red calipers. And then you kind of have the black accents. I'm gonna do some extra carbon fiber stuff. I've got it coming right now. It's obviously got the carbon fiber lip right now, which is pretty sweet. It's got the dual motor. I didn't realize it, but if the line's under it, that means it's the performance. So now you kind of know what that means. But man, this has been a nice car. You can kind of see that width of the back versus the front right there. A couple things I've gotten done to it so far. I tried to get them to net out 5% tint, so you can see that there. It's got privacy glass on all the back windows stock. So actually, because there's so much light coming in from the windshield and the top of the car, you can actually still see in a little bit on the front, especially when there's a front passenger and the big lighted up screen is on and all of that. In the back, you really can't see it all, which is pretty nice. So at least when the kids are out back, we don't have to worry about that. But overall, I think it looks really good like that. And then I got ceramic coating done. So they ceramic coated everything on the outside pretty much. And, that should be good. PPF would probably be a little bit nicer and a little bit more protective, but obviously also an increased expense there. But overall, the car is really, really pretty. It's in really good shape. Obviously it's still under warranty, so that's a good thing. I didn't really have to worry about if something happened. So kind of going into the car here, it's a little dirty right now. I'm gonna clean the inside here soon, but it's very minimalistic inside. Got the rear view camera for the baby, but not a lot going on. A couple of cup holders, that's about it. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. I will say something I didn't realize is just how many settings and how many things you can do with the screen and how much kind of luxury stuff the car really has. I knew it had leather seats and, programmable seats, that kind of thing. But other than that, I'll have another video probably where I'll start going through everything that the screen can control and everything that you can do. But it's really wild. Let's see here. Oh, I did get some aftermarket floor mats just because the floor mats that came in it were just really carpeted and really cheap, and you could tell that. So at least that'll cover things up a little bit better. I'm getting some ambient lighting put in, so I'm gonna do it across the dashboard and probably back on that pillar, going back on both sides. I've got some carbon fiber mirror caps coming, carbon fiber camera covers coming. Let's see, I've got some different stuff as far as that goes. I've got a carbon fiber license plate holder, which will be kind of nice, I think. It'll look a little bit better that way. So this is the back. What I do like about it is even though it's kind of a smaller car, it's still got plenty of storage. There's actually a large storage compartment underneath here, which is pretty good. And then obviously it's got the front as well, so I can have a little bit of storage room out front, which is nice. Let's see if I can open that up. Like I said, everything's pretty much controlled by the screen, and if it's not controlled by the screen, then it's controlled by the app, which is pretty nice. You can open that up. A little bit of extra storage there, which is pretty nice. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. It's pretty sweet. All right, so now we'll go get in the car and talk a little bit about the inside of the car. Let's see. So obviously the door handle, you know, at first you think you know how you're going to do it, and then you go to drive it or test drive it for the first time, you're like, God dang, let me open the door. You know, so you push it in here and then it'll unlock and then you can pull it open. And it's kind of like, you know, some Mustangs, things like that. The window has to come down just a little bit for it to open up. So the window comes down and then you can go ahead and get in the car here. Let's see. It's got a power trunk, but the front is not power. So we're going to sit here and that's going to stay open at the moment. But the first thing you kind of notice with the interior of the car is how minimalistic it is. You know, there's really not a lot going on. It's got the nice leather seats, which is good. It's got heated front seats and heated rear seats, which is good. It doesn't help much with the baby seats, but at least it's got it. It's also got a heated steering wheel, which is pretty sweet. Other than that, you know, as far as ambient lighting, that's the main thing I really don't like about the car. There's not a lot going on. It's got these dome lights here, and there's a couple back there, which will come on at nighttime at certain times. You can, you know, decide when you want them to come on. And then it's got lights in the footwells as well, which is kind of nice, but it's all really dark otherwise. So I would like a little more ambient lighting. I kind of want it to look a little bit like a Mercedes GLE. They've got really, really nice ambient lighting that just kind of, you know, covers a lot of areas. Really, the GLE would have lighting going all the way down here, all the way across the dashboard, really down the doors. But so what I'm doing is I went and got some aftermarket ambient lighting, and it's just going to go across this dashboard right here. And then for now, I've got it planned to go across each of those pillars in the back, which I think is probably going to be pretty nice. I'm either going to have to plug it in to the 12-volt outlet, or they said the kit may be able to fit back here, and I'll just run the wires down here underneath that little box way down there by the floor. There's apparently something I can connect into. That way the ambient lights will come on when the car comes on and turn off when the car basically turns off. It's kind of difficult because the car is pretty much always on, doing different things. There's a lot of stuff you can really get into that I didn't realize it about, like preconditioning the battery and things like that, especially cold weather. It does not like cold weather very much, so that's something you have to think about. But the car pretty much handles everything. You know, we can talk about that in future videos as far as that goes. I did get the Tesla wall charger hooked into my wall, so they came and connected that basically, which is pretty sweet. It's really easy to use. I'll, you know, once again, probably have a video about, you know, charging and things like that in the future. But they make it really easy to kind of stay on top of things and keep the battery as healthy as it can long term. I'm gonna go out here and close the front real quick, which, by the way, to get out, you have a little button here. You click the button and you open it up then, because it's got to roll the window down a little bit for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close the front. So you just kind of close it and then you'll latch it just like that. I've watched some videos saying that this is really pliable, so you want to be gentle and just push right there in that area, which I think I'm gonna come back and do some black Tesla logos here soon. Let's see here, but to continue on the inside of the car, you know, as far as the features and the buttons and everything, you have your regular window buttons here. That's all fine. That's the door open button, which is electronic. If the car was ever to die, which that should never really happen, but if it does, I think that you pop this little piece off right here, and there's a little thing you can pull to actually open the door. And then apparently it's a little harder on these back doors. I think it's down there in the bottom of the door, and you got to get down there and pop open a little piece and get it going here. As far as the steering wheel, pretty simple. Once again, we've got a couple little scroll wheels here. So this is the left, that's for music mainly. And then I'm not sure what this does. If you're just sitting here, it doesn't do much. If you have on cruise control, then you can control the speed and things like that, which is pretty nice. Let's see here. It does have two stalks. This one is for the windshield wipers and the blinkers, which mainly you only use it for the blinkers because the windshield wipers are automatic anyway. And then this one is to put it into drive or reverse or park. So that's how you change your gears on that right side. Other than that, you got two wireless chargers, which they do work, but I had read some stuff saying they were really, you know, poorly done. They just don't charge your phone that fast, and that's very true. They don't. It's better than nothing, but it's not like you're just going to charge your phone up while you're on a, you know, hour drive or something like that. Let's see here. Other than that, we do have the nice leather. I like that. I think they say it's like the vegan leather or something like that. You know, I don't think it's real beef leather or whatever, but it feels pretty good overall. The seats hold you pretty well, which is nice. Some pretty good stitching here. Nice wood dashboard. I mean, I kind of like all that. I think it looks good. I think maybe a little carbon fiber addition on this inside here would be pretty nice. It looks like this might get scratched up kind of easy. I don't know if you can see that there. So I just want to be careful with that. Oh, I do have some aftermarket holders just to help give a little more space here. Got these to put in just to keep that area clean. This is a cover here, and there's a lot of space underneath there, but I don't really want to get in there right now. So, oh, and then this is a little extra cover that you got. I don't know how hard it is to open here. Hadn't really done it much. Might have to have a key or something, but basically I was able to pop that on with some double-sided tape. And let's see if I can get it in here. There we go. So you could technically hide something there if you had to. You know, a lot of people, or if somebody was in here, they probably wouldn't even really know to look there for something, which is kind of nice. That's about it right here, you know. Let's see. We've got this here, sun visor, everything like that. Let's see. There's your mirror as far as that goes if you need it. So that's good there. Hazard lights are up there. Obviously the full sun or moon roof, as they call it, and then going to the back. It's very interesting. There's not a lot of room to see out that back window back there. You can tell it's very small, so you're kind of heavily reliant on the camera, which is pretty nice because you have the camera here and you can click it any time. It doesn't matter if you're driving or what's happening exactly, but so you can see the back and you can see both sides, which is pretty nice, so you don't have to worry about that. I will say with the 5% tint, it's very nice having these two views right here, because at night, if it's in a dark parking lot or something, you really can't see out the window to see the mirrors. So at least you can see out that way, which is pretty nice. Let's see here. Oh, and as far as these stalks go, I know that the newer Teslas, I think they're getting away from the stalks. I think the 2023s or 2024s may not have them at all, especially the 2024s, which is kind of interesting. I think they have maybe a couple more buttons here. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of it right here in the main cockpit area. Oh, one thing I didn't know is that these seats, you know, you can move them, you can control them multiple different ways, just like most seats. But when I first got the car, I didn't realize it's got different modes on the screen where you can save it to where the seat will move back when you get out, and then when you step in, it'll go to your driver settings, which is pretty nice because my wife, she has the app as well. So if she gets in and she wants to drive, then it saves her settings, so it'll move to whatever her settings are. And that was something that, once again, when I first got the car, I didn't know that it could do that, which is pretty nice there. You can look at the back here. So once again, not a lot going on. You know, you got the window switch, you got the door opener, and that's about it. I like the seats. I think they did a really good design on them. I think they look really good. USB-C ports there, a little bit of AC vent, which is nice. And once again, that's about it. You know, there's enough room for, I mean, I would say you could probably get 2 adults, 3 if you really had to scram them in there. But I know at first they were doing 2 seats in the back. When they first started making the Model Y, but I think they took that away in 2022 maybe, or 2023, because I don't know if you've seen any videos with that, but if so, I mean, it would have to be, you know, a very small person to fit back there. I mean, the 2 seats back there, they barely had any leg room at all, which was wild. Let's see, here's the charging port here. There's multiple ways to open it up. I'll kind of show that in a future video here. So then you can kind of push it on a little and it'll close down there. But yeah, so that's a lot of kind of the general outline of the car, you know. One other thing about the trunk, which has been pretty nice, let me open that up here. When I first got the car, I pulled into my garage and I opened up the trunk, and the carbon fiber lip slammed the handle on the door garage, which really sucked. But what you can do to change that is that you can pick which setting you want it to open up to, and then you just hold the button for 5 seconds, and then it'll only ever go up that high. I will say I've got it set kind of low right now, which kind of sucks because now I almost hit my head every time. So I'm going to have to decide if I'm just going to back in every single time or just watch it when I open it. I'm not sure, but we'll go from there. You know, we got the seat fold downs here. So I haven't ever folded them down because I got the baby seats there, so I don't really worry about that. Let's see. Oh, another interesting part about the car is it does not come with a extra tire, which is kind of crazy, or extra wheel. So if you get in a wreck or something like that, or you have a flat tire, I guess I should say. If you have a flat tire, then you're not going to really be able to do anything about it. You know, you're going to have to call roadside assistant, and they're going to have to bring you. And, you know, I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but you'll have to get that worked out. But here's the back there. You can see this car came with a charger that will plug into the wall. And I'll say once again, when I first got the car, I didn't realize about the charging. I had read that this thing will only charge it up about 1 to 2 miles per hour through a regular plug. I think it's a 110. But when I drove it down to Mississippi, I tried it out, and it was doing 5 miles per hour all night. So, I mean, I didn't really have any trouble at all, which was pretty nice. Because if you don't have the wall charger, your really only other option other than using that slow one is a supercharger along the way. And the superchargers are really nice. They're super fast. I will say it's going to be something to get used to if you're doing a lot of long trips. I probably wouldn't want the Model Y performance for long trips necessarily because of the supercharging. But we'll come back around to that. Let's see here. But yeah, I really love the rims. I really love the tires. And I think the red calipers look great. I think 2024 maybe they're changing the calipers to where they're not actually bigger, nicer brakes on the performance like they are right now for my 2022. I think they're just going to be caliper covers. So they're not going to look, or they might look pretty, but they're not going to be as effective as what I've seen, which that's kind of an interesting change that they're doing here. The car does have multiple cameras on it. That's something else that I've had to get used to. You know, we have a side view camera right here. We have a front camera right up there. We've got a pillar camera right there. And then obviously you've got the rear view camera. And I've been driving around here and there, and it'll say, you know, side pillar camera is dirty. You're going to have to wipe it for us to be able to see, basically, is what it comes up with. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, you know. I mean, I can't help it that it's rainy or, you know, kind of dirty outside right now. It hadn't really seemed to be a problem. I don't know how that would affect full self-driving mode, but you know, I guess we'll see. This one actually does not have full self-driving mode. I've got autopilot, the basic autopilot, which I think comes with all the Teslas when you buy them. But this car, if I go to upgrades, I could do full self-driving capability subscription for $200 a month, and then it could do full self-driving. It doesn't give me, they have like 2 options, but for whatever reason, they say your certain setups decide what option it's going to allow you to do. So let's say I've got the full self-driving computer in the car. I've got autopilot, but I just, you know, whoever bought this car when it first came out didn't do the full self-driving. And I didn't really care for it for $200 a month. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay without it. So this one says it'll navigate on autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, summon, traffic light, and stop sign control. Versus mine right now, the regular autopilot here, let's see, enables you to steer, accelerate, and brake automatically for other vehicles and pedestrians within its lane. So basically, you know, what I've realized is that, you know, when you're going down the interstate, pull this twice down when you're on the interstate, say, you know, it'll turn for you and it'll speed up and slow down based on if somebody's in front of you, you know, and it'll try to go to whatever speed you have it set for. Say you have it set on 75, you know, if somebody pulls in front of you going 65, then it'll slow down to 65. It'll say 2 or 3 car lengths away, depending on how much you've got it set. You can change that while you're driving. And, anyway, then it'll decide, you know, okay, I need to speed up when they get out of the way, basically. But if you have to change lanes, then you'll change lanes, and that's going to disengage the autopilot. So that's kind of the difference between the autopilot and the actual full self-driving. The full self-driving could go, okay, I want to be in the left lane, and I want to be going 75, so I'm going around this guy, you know, that kind of thing. The other thing that I don't really love about the autopilot is every about 45 seconds or so it beeps at you. So you have to put a little pressure on the steering wheel, or you have to touch one of these scroll wheels here. It just seems kind of annoying in that way. It is nice because if you're driving, you're on a long drive, then at least you don't have to worry about things so much. You know, it's taking care of mostly everything for you. The other weird thing, though, is that it's got this camera up here, which I've got a little switch on it, which apparently just broke. I just put it on. You can see it there. and that thing is watching you. So, you know, at one point I just had my phone right here while I was driving just for a minute, and it said, hey, you know, you've got, it beeps and it says that you've got to pay attention, basically is what it does. And I was like, man, that was just really annoying, you know? So full self-driving, I'm assuming, takes that out of the picture, so it's not so annoying, but I'm not really sure.